Mr. Rice.
Good evening, everyone. It is now 7 p.m. I will call the Tuesday, January 19th, 2021 Board of Selectmen meeting to order. Just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded, audio recording and visual recording. All three selectmen are present. We'll begin with the approval of minutes. Make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from January 5th, 2021.
Second motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on these minutes?
Nothing from me.
I didn't have anything.
I'm good.
All in favor of approving the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from January 5th, 2021, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That motion passes. I'll make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen special meeting minutes from January 11th, 2021.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those minutes?
Nope.
Okay. Hearing none, all in favor of approving the Board of Selectmen special meeting minutes from January 11th, 2021, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. Correspondence. We did not have correspondence prior to the publication or of the agenda, the publishing of the agenda, but I did have a couple that came in that I wanted to bring to the selectmen's attention tonight. So I'm going to share my screen. It's just going to take me a second to do that. Okay. Oh, let me find it. Okay, the first one was from a resident, Richard Stacy. Let me see if I can scroll this down. He said, I am writing to you, this was for the selectmen, I'm writing to you about the problem that has been going on for at least a few years. That is kids riding dirt bikes, mini bikes, or an ATV illegally. They come into Main Street via Red Bridge Road and speed around, no license plate, riding up on the sidewalk. And one time last summer, flying around all over the St. Joseph Church property. I've contacted the police many times about this, yet it still continues, even just a few minutes ago as I am writing this. I'm asking if there is something that the Board of Selectmen can do to help alleviate the situation. And as we know, as a board, this is an ongoing issue. It's always been an issue. It's difficult for the police to nab offenders because obviously they have very important things going on and can't always just have a patrolman just sitting and waiting for the hopes that a illegal motorcyclist will drive by. So I did broach it with Mr. Stacy and asked him if he was in my shoes, what he would do. And his thought was maybe we could issue some type of a statement reminding residents of the illegal nature. I didn't think it was a bad idea. But I wanted just to bring it to the board's attention because Mr. Stacy had addressed it to us as a board. And it did just come in on Friday after we had left the town hall for the day. The second item I wanted to bring to the board's attention came from Janet Blanchett. Is this coming up on the screen, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, because I forwarded it to my private email. In regard to the Wheaton Brook culvert, J&D Engineering had been contracted to draw up plans for a bid for the Wheaton Brook culvert repairs on West Thompson Road. And those plans are ready. So we would like to move forward with an RFP, but I know that we need the Board of Selectmen's blessing in order to go out to RFP. Ken, you're familiar with this because it's been ongoing since 2018, as far as when we hired J&D, if I'm correct. It's something I would like to add to other business tonight.
Okay.
So I would make a motion that we add to other business, the Wheaton Brook culvert RFP.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. We'll have discussion, any other discussion about adding this to the agenda?
Nope.
Hearing none, all in favor of adding the Wheaton Brook Culvert RFP to agenda item 10, other business, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. And the last letter that came in the other day, again, after business hours on Friday, was a letter from a resident. Just take me a second to get this one up. From Mr. and Dr. Matt and Laura Ginio of 30 Indian Inn Road in Thompson. Addressed to me and the Board of Selectmen, Town of Thompson, interested in purchasing a town-owned plot of land, which I was able to discuss with our attorney today. It says, to the Board of Selectmen, my wife and I recently moved into our forever home on 30 Indian Inn Road. Our property abuts a 4.2 acres of town-owned land that has been classified as open space. Our property also shares the longest border, measuring 511 feet, with this plot of land. The address of the property is 0 Lillian Ave, and it is classified as account number 104162 and map block lot 1142850H. I've enclosed a map highlighting our parcel of land as well as this property in which we are interested. After speaking with First Selectman St. Ange on the phone, she confirmed the plot of land is currently under no restrictions that would prohibit the sale and is in fact open space as deemed by the original subdivision in 2006. Having the plot of land as open space is a wonderful thing. Knowing that the town intends to keep it as open space is equally wonderful. If this were to ever change, the dynamic of our life at 30 Indian Road would change substantially. We bought this property because of its seclusion and because it gives us the space to raise a family and the safety of being set back from the road. Because of this, we are motivated to do anything we are able to ensure the area remains open space. To this end, we would like to purchase the land with the caveat that it would remain open space. We will not build on the land. We will solely maintain it as an extension of our yard, and the town will therefore collect tax revenue on it. As we understand this plot of land would need to go out to bid, we must insist the requirement that this land is not to be built on as part of the listing. At the end of the day, we are only looking to be in charge of our own destiny, knowing the future of this plot of land is in the town's hand, and the planning surrounding this plot of land would change on any given day. We are here to ensure the land is maintained and remains open for the benefit of the community dynamic. We appreciate your consideration in allowing this to be reviewed by planning and zoning with an end goal of us being able to acquire the land at fair market value. Thank you all very much for your time. Feel free to give us a call or send an email with any questions or concerns. And I'll forward this to both you, Ken and Suzanne. Again, I spoke to the attorney about it because I had other issues that I had to talk to him about today. And he brought up a few things that would need to be looked into.
Do you want to add it to the agenda, or do you want to hold it till next meeting?
I think I want to research the other items first, just to ensure, you know, the details of the deed. One of the things was, is it just open space, which means no development, or was it meant to be a common area for the public, surrounding public to recreate there?
So at this point, it's under correspondence, and we
It's
should
just under
either we
correspondence.
make a motion to move it or move on.
I would say we just move on. We don't have to make a motion at all.
Okay,
I just wanted to bring it to your attention to let you know that it was something that had been brought to my attention, and it's a request, and I'm going to continue to research it.
excellent.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
I don't need to know right now.
All right.
We should-
And that was all the correspondence that I had, but it all came in later Friday and on. So do either Ken, you or Suzanne have any other correspondence that you need to share?
No.
I do not.
Okay. All right, so we will move on to agenda item 3, selectmen comments. I'll open the floor to the selectmen if they wish to make any comments.
I have something I wanted to bring up for discussion. I wondered if, and I was thinking about this the last couple of meetings, we did not do any kind of a formal thank you to Thompson Hill Fire Station for letting us use their facility for I don't know how many years.
Mhm.
And I wondered if that's something that we should talk about and take some action on. Just as a courtesy.
In the past, for people that have done a variety, serving on a variety of commissions, boards, we've recognized them. The Selectmen's Office has, we issue them a certificate of appreciation, or, a particular, making it a holiday, things of that nature that can be done out of the Selectmen's Office, and, to thank them for their service.
Well, I don't think we need to make them a holiday.
No, I'm just saying we use the certificates for
But I think it would
a
be nice.
variety of things.
I think it would be nice because for many,
Yeah.
many years, we were allowed to use their building, and I just think it's a nice way of saying thank you. So I wanted to bring that up and see what your thoughts were.
And it definitely would be appropriate.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, do we need a formal? I don't think we need.
I don't think
we
so.
Just draft something and maybe at the next meeting, make it
Yeah.
formal.
so it's public.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll plan that and I'll add that to the next agenda.
Thank you.
You're
That
welcome.
was it for me.
Okay.
The only thing that I have is one question.
Mhm.
The 1395 Riverside Drive, one of the stipulations for the offer was that it pass a perk test.
Mhm.
Do we know if that's ever been done as of yet?
That is in process, but I don't think it's been completed as of yet.
And just to make people aware, COVID is definitely getting out of control. I was at the hospital today, just for bringing somebody there for some tests. I mean, they are under extreme lockdown.
Mhm.
It's getting really nasty out there. So
Yep.
we do have to remember to stay safe, and that's pretty much it.
Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands.
Yeah, and on that same note, I was just before this meeting, I was helping my parents register in VAMS. It is an online registration. When you register, I got turnaround from CDC, but there is some difficulty with choosing and finding sites that have availability. However, I know that Dick Kimball Hospital today on Winnie Radio, who's here with us tonight, had reported that Dick Kimball Hospital had requested 5,000 vaccines to be used for the 75 and older population. As of noon today, they still had not heard back confirmation, but another resident had come in, and just to let anybody in the meeting tonight, please share this with people, know that Hartford Healthcare, on their site, you can also register for the vaccine. And one of our local residents who's over 75 registered there and got an appointment on Friday at Bacchus Hospital. So there's a couple different avenues. VAMS is one, which is the Vaccine Administration Management System. And then, like I said, if you go directly to the Hartford Healthcare website, it easily navigates. I'm going to try that for my parents after I get done this meeting. So I'm hoping to have better luck there. And since we have a beefy agenda, that's about all that I have to share tonight, because a lot of what's going on in the Selectmen's Office is stuff that we're dealing with tonight. So I don't have any other comments. Any other comments from Ken or Suzanne?
Just on the vaccine, hopefully they don't forget the northeast corner where we can get, our seniors, where they don't have to travel to Willimantic, et cetera.
Right.
And that we can, whether they partner with pharmacies or, like they're doing in Hartford, where they're actually going to, set it up at Rensselaer Field, that they do find something in this area. So that way it makes it extremely, a lot easier.
Right.
I have heard that CVS and Walgreens are going to have them. I don't know if that's true or not. I know CVS in Massachusetts is definitely going to have them.
Right.
And that the pharmacy techs will be administering the vaccination.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we were able to look into it, if we could have actually a vaccine clinic at the town hall or something.
Yeah, I think the biggest hangup is going to be the logistics, because there has to be a 15-minute window after you receive the injection, so that way you don't have a reaction.
Mhm.
And that
And
means,
the Northeast District Department of Health has had a few clinics. It's just that they're booking up faster than the vaccines they have. They sell out of spots pretty fast, not sell,
Right.
but they run out of spots fast. So,
But I agree with Ken. I hope the Northeast corner is not forgotten.
yeah. So, any other selectmen comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 4, citizen comments. Any citizen comments at this time, feel free to unmute yourself, type in the chat box, etc. But when you do speak, just say your name and your address, please. John Rice.
Good evening. When you're discussing that open space, I might make a suggestion
Okay.
that when you talk to our legalese, to tell them to look at the subdivision regulations. When we accepted that open space, there's pretty much a lot of restrictions to that, but just a suggestion.
Okay, thank you, John.
I haven't had time off the top of my head, just in a few minutes to try to find something, but that's it.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate any of your assistance with that, John.
Thank you.
Any other citizen comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 5, firefighter tax abatement ordinance 10-019, discussion and possible action. This is something we've brought up at other meetings. I did ask the fire departments to be represented because I do believe it's important for them to have input. Obviously, the abatement program is meant to help attract volunteers, to thank volunteers for their service. Currently, as it stands, if I understand this correctly, firefighters are eligible for up to $1,000 if they meet certain criteria. The chiefs sign off on them being eligible for the abatement. And I did get clarification. Thank you for Suzanne for sending me the bill that had come before the House of Representatives last year. It was passed. So as of July 1st of 2022, that abatement could go upwards of $2,000. So that was confirmed. Currently, it's $1,500. So what we're here to discuss tonight is the following. By law, a municipality may provide tax relief for qualifying volunteer emergency personnel in the form of either an abatement or an exemption. And just to be clear, an abatement is a reduction in the amount of taxes owed. An exemption is a reduction in the property's assessed value for tax purposes. And that's what we're here to discuss tonight. Really hoping for some good input from our chiefs and from members of the fire departments, and of course from our Board of Selectmen. So Suzanne, would you like to say something? You're on mute.
I apologize in advance because Bill has a meeting behind me and we have a small house. So I keep putting myself on mute so you can't hear him. But just to clarify that we're actually talking about two different things. One is to increase the allotment. Am I correct? And that is currently $1,000, not $1,500, I believe.
No, but by this year's standards, it could have been $1,500.
Oh, it could have been. Okay, I'm sorry,
After-
misunderstood.
For fiscal year 22, and thereafter it is increased to 2,000.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. And I
Yeah, that's
actually
okay.
printed that out so I would have it in front of me.
Yeah, but it might not have been clear, so.
And the other thing is that currently the individuals receiving it, it's looked at as an abatement, correct?
Correct.
And they are being taxed on that.
Right, they receive a check based on what they've paid in taxes, if I'm clear. And then taxes are taken out of that.
Right.
it's considered income.
It's
Whereas-
considered income, which is why I brought this up to begin with, because they're already paying taxes on that as income, when they're working as tax, so
Right.
they're taken out of their paychecks. So I was concerned, it felt like they were being double taxed
Mhm.
because it's being considered income twice,
Right.
which made no sense at all to me. So this is why I originally brought it up. And then we started discussing about increasing it because it has benefits. I mean, we certainly, during what they've been going through with COVID and everything else, the volunteers, which include the EMS, the fire department, as well as emergency management, I feel have gone above and beyond. And a small incentive to get more volunteers, possibly increasing the dollar amount. So just wanted to clarify that there's actually two different discussions on the table.
Correct.
Okay.
But I'm really open to hear both yours and Ken's feelings on the matter. But more importantly, really to hear what the departments have to say and ideally what they would be looking for. When I spoke to Paul Hopkins, our assessor, about this, he had said that in Killingly, the departments got together and presented a plan to the town, which I thought was fair. And then the town either adopted it in whole or in part, but at least they presented what they would be looking for. And that gave everybody in the department's input. So.
And that sounds good.
Well, I'm still hoping to see what Paul has and how they wrote it up. So that way we can, actually see something. But I mean, we're all in agreement as a board that either raising as it currently is and get it up to the 2,000, or, if we do it as an exemption, that works. That way they don't get taxed on it.
Mhm.
We just got to find the right vehicle in order to make it work. I mean, they go so far above and beyond that, not enough can be said. It's just to find the right vehicle that will have a good lasting impact, and we won't have to, keep revisiting it.
Yeah. And I see Chief Sharp, you have your hand up. Your floor is
Yes.
yours. I'd love to hear what you
Okay.
have to say.
Thank you, Amy. John Sharp, 6A Floral Ave. Thank you for the email and thank you for what the town does for us and thinking about us and trying to do everything they can to keep us safe. I did have a discussion with my board members and my officers in regards to the subject. And again, there's always been the uneasy feeling of the abatement where we're being taxed on money that we have already paid taxes on. Seems to be very uneasy, I guess you could say. Again, we're very thankful for what the town does for us. And speaking with them, they're all in favor of actually having it go to the new standard where basically we can just get the monies taken off of our tax assessment. It does seem to be a little more streamlined and easy to comprehend, I guess. But again, that's some of the feelings from my board of directors and my membership as well, if that helps.
Yeah. There, Josh Cusack. Oh, did you have your hand raised?
Josh did.
Yeah.
I did, I'm sorry.
He moved on the screen though for
I
whatever
know.
reason. All of a sudden he was there and then he was gone. So please out.
So one of the things that just was discussed because of our location in our town, one of the things that was discussed at, I'm not sure if it was a fire advisory meeting or a townwide officers meeting. One of the things that was discussed, there are a lot of people who work in or who volunteer in our town who aren't town residents, myself being one of them. We have a lot of people from Massachusetts. We have a lot of people from Putnam. We have even some from even further away than that. Unfortunately, those people can't benefit from a tax abatement because we don't pay taxes to the town of Thompson, but we service the town of Thompson. I know there was a discussion had, this might be some time ago, of changing the abatement instead of an abatement, rather a almost like a retirement or longevity program. And so if you have 1 year of service, there's a certain annual allotment that you would get for providing your, providing your time with the department. Same thing in 5 years, 10 years, so forth and so on, of course, to a cap. And then there would be a retirement once you would hit something like 20 to 25 years on a department. There would be, most departments, you're considered a life member at that point. You don't have necessarily any requirements because it's considered time served. And moving forward, you'd still get that allotment because of your previous service. I don't know if that's something that should be taken into consideration as well. I do know, I mean, I would have to say for my fire department, particularly for East Thompson, I would probably have to say a good 70% of our membership comes from either Massachusetts or they don't have any type of holdings or they don't pay taxes in the town of Thompson, whether it's a newer member who's been on the department a year or two, started as a junior member, their parents have their vehicle on their as their register, they're the registered owner, so they technically pay the taxes. So that individual, although there's still tax paid for that vehicle that's responding to calls, they don't get any type of financial, I'll call it financial assistance, but they don't get the abatement because the registration is booked or is registered to their parent who isn't necessarily a member of the companies. So I don't want to say it's unfair. I mean, we all do it for our passion for the service. So most of us aren't looking to get anything out of it. But it's that little change I think could potentially bring in more membership, such as like West Thompson. They saddle the Woodstock and Putnam lines. If members from those two towns or individuals from those two towns came into that department, they'd still have an offset or an incentive. And same thing with East Thompson, we saddle the Rhode Island and Webster, Mass line. Same goes true. I know it was discussed. I don't know if it's something that should be taken into consideration moving forward. If we're changing the way the abatement does now, I think it would be something worth looking at.
Josh, can you, for our recording secretary, can you just state your name, title? You're not a Thompson resident?
No, well, you used to be, not anymore.
Okay.
But Josh Cusack,
but you're still a member of the fire department?
Correct, yes. Josh Cusack, I'm the Assistant Chief of East Thompson Fire Department, and I'm also the EMS Administrator of Community Ambulance.
Okay, thank you. Are there, and to respond to what you had said, Josh, too, I was thinking, I know it's not a perfect system because I know that there's still some members that won't receive as much as others. So yeah, there are flaws to it, absolutely. But we definitely want to try to find what's best for all the departments as a whole, and that benefits as many of your volunteers as possible. John Sharp, do you have your hand up again?
Yeah, just to follow up with what Josh was saying, I remember many years ago when the program was developed by the town in regards to the abatement. Again, the idea was for recruitment and retention. However, just to kind of piggyback to what Josh was saying, you've got a lot of younger people that start to get involved with emergency services, well, whether it's on the ambulance side, on the fire side, or just generally helping out with whatever. They don't have a tax liability in most cases. Like Josh stated, they may have, a car that's under their parents' name because of expense purposes or however. So again, they don't benefit really from the whole program. Until you've kind of been a seasoned person, maybe have some tax liability, real estate, car, whatever the case may be, the program doesn't, in my opinion, it's helpful for those that have a decent tax liability. But to say that it's part of a recruitment and retention program, I kind of have to disagree. If we're trying to get younger people, I'm not going to be in it forever. This is year 34 for me. It just doesn't, to me, it's not an incentive to join into an emergency services because of the tax abatement until you've achieved yourself or until you've actually been able to get some sort of tax liability. So again, just to follow up with what Josh says, and again, we get volunteers from everywhere, whether it's, you know, Massachusetts or Putnam or Woodstock or however, we all help each other out. You know, I'm fortunate most of my members are townspeople, but I do have some that are not in the town of Thompson that will not benefit from the program either. So again, just to keep that in mind.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other department members who'd like to share their thoughts? Not seeing any.
I think, Josh, did you want to say something more?
Oh, okay.
Yes, if I could.
Yes,
Just
absolutely.
kind of in rebuttal to what John had said there. So what I guess incentive is kind of I'd call it an inappropriate word to use, you know, for that aspect. But the other side of it too is the cost that the departments are spending on individuals that come into the department. If we do use the word incentive in this case, we're talking about right now, the way it's structured is you get $500 for being a member of a company, or an active member in good standing of a company. You get $250 for having an EMS qualification, and you get $250 for having a fire qualification. So for instance, myself, I'm certified firefighter, certified EMS, so I would qualify up to the $1,000 mark. However, there's some companies, for instance, our fire department, East Thompson, we pay all of our training out. So if we get a new member in, we're put, just in order for them to get the full abatement, we're spending upwards of probably about $5,000 between the EMS training, the fire training, and the gear that they have to wear. With no incentive for that individual to stay other than if they enjoy the service, recruitment or retention kind of goes down, you know, the wayside. And volunteerism isn't what it used to be. It's not the days where you'd have 30 people showing up to a medical call, and the minute you call for something, the minute, you know, you don't even have to say it and it's there. I've been to too many calls that, medical calls specifically, that many hands are required and many hands are not found. So I think it's a dual play process here where recruitment and retention still plays an effect in the abatement. And especially like John had said, with the people who don't have the tax liabilities, there is no incentive for them to stay with the company other than their passion for the service.
So a question came over to me from Matt Grauer, Chief Grauer from Thompson Hill Fire Department. Can you clarify lowering your assessment or lowering your assessed liability? And I think I can do this. So an exemption is a reduction in the property's assessed value for tax purposes. So in the case of the $1,000 that some of the department is eligible for, in the exemption, it would equate to about $41,271. So if your home or your property was assessed at $150,000, the assessment would be lowered by $41,000, and in essence, your taxes would be reduced by $1,000 in that case. So if you paid $2,000 in taxes last year on your real estate and car property, you would only pay $1,000 out of pocket. So nothing, you wouldn't be taxed on that income. You would just get the lowered assessment. Versus your abatement, which is up to $1,000. So if you had a car, so currently the way it stands, if you only had a car tax and that car tax, it was $500, that's the maximum amount that you would get from the town. You wouldn't get the full $1,000 even if you were eligible for it, because you only paid $500 in taxes. Am I correct? That's the way I've understood it. Okay.
I believe that you're correct, but based on my research, but that $500 as an abatement would then have taxes taken out of it, and you would receive a W-2, which
Yes.
you would then have to put through your income tax when you're doing your taxes.
Mhm.
So there's it makes it a lot more complicated for anyone receiving that benefit.
Right.
The exemption would eliminate all of that.
Exactly.
Right. Are there-
Just to touch bases, when we discussed this, prior to 2004, when this finally became an ordinance,
Mhm.
with the abatement, the chiefs back at that time with the fire departments had discussed about doing some form of a retirement, and they had looked into it, and unfortunately, the only chief that may be around long enough might be Merrill, that was knee deep in that, because a lot of the others are no longer with us. I believe it had to do, the reason they went the other with the abatement when that was created was because of the buy-in, how the retirement worked, that you would have to put up front in order, especially for some of our aging firefighters that have been members for 20, 30, 40 years, coming into this, how do you bring them up where they could, benefit from them? Some of them were already, in retirement age, but still, donating, countless hours to each of their departments. And I think that was the issue at that time. It was going to be the buy-in from the insurance company, whoever puts that on, for the nut for the town to come up with to make it work.
So I do have another comment in the chat from Chief Whipple from West Thompson Fire Department. I'm in support of the Selectmen's office thought with the new program. However, I do think that the departments as a whole need to come up with a retirement plan at the fire advisory level. So. Is there any other thoughts on this subject?
Well, I mean, at the least, depending on where we go forward, there's nothing stopping us from modifying the current abatement to get it up to 15 and then, 2,000. We've got there's a couple board of finance members on there. So when we discuss the budget coming in February, that's an ordinance change, and, we could do that. Well, it won't affect this year. Unless the Board of Finance was willing, and have to go back to the ordinance, how that, the timeframes is. But we definitely could go from 1,000 to 2,000, for
the fiscal year
2022.
Yeah, I would be in agreement with that increase.
Oh, I would.
Then it's just a matter of deciding, do we stay abatement? Do we move to exemption?
John, did you say that you had a consensus on that from your board?
Yeah, well, it's not so much of a consensus. I had gotten input from the different board members in regards to, their feelings and thoughts. And again, I guess the biggest thing is, once we pay our taxes, and then we get the 1,000, 1,500, whatever it may be, we're taxed on that money. It's almost like a double taxation. That's the one thing that was kind of always uneasy with everybody. Again, if we're able to just deduct it from our liability, where it doesn't become a taxable issue, it kind of sits a little bit better with a majority of my members.
And that was exactly the reason that I first brought this to the board's attention, was
Right.
because it feels like you're getting taxed twice.
Right.
And that's not an incentive.
Well, and again, if I could, right, and you're absolutely right, Suzanne. The incentive to pay your taxes that on money that you've already got taxed on, to get a check back that you get taxed on. You see where we're going with this? We're taxed. It just.
Not to mention that when you go to do your taxes, then your income is increased. Your actual income is increased by that dollar amount. And you also have to file, extra paperwork or whatever to do a W-2 for the town of Thompson.
Right. So and again, I don't know the complexity on the Board of Selectmen side or the town side, it does make things a little bit easier on emergency services side as far as paperwork and having to claim things as well. So it's fun and it's easier for us, but.
So I do have another in the chat box from Chief Grauer. The members of Thompson Hill that expressed a preference would agree with the Board of Selectmen's suggestion of the exemption. To echo the other chiefs, as a recruitment, as retention tool, it needs to be investigated further. So if I'm understanding you correctly, Chief Grauer, is just that if we're thinking of recruitment and retention tools, then we need to look into more options potentially. So.
Amy, if I may, one more thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and again, volunteerism, again, I've been in it for quite some time, as most of the members of Thompson's Emergency Services. Just like anything else, at the town level, volunteering is very tough to get people to do. People's times are that much more complex. There's more things going on. We value all our volunteers as much as we can. But again, I've been in it for quite some time. I know when I first joined on, we had a waiting list and I was probably 15 in line, and it took me about 2 years to actually become a full-fledged member. Nowadays, we try to put the hand out and try to get as many people as we can. And the volunteer isn't just, it's not like it used to be. So with that said, the program that was set forth many years ago, it's great for a lot of people. But again, if we're getting people from outside of the Thompson area that want to volunteer, kudos, we're thankful. But it does not do much for them as far as a recruitment and retention program. So just bear that in mind as well. That's the only thing.
Can I make a possible suggestion? Board of Finance has a meeting this week. Maybe you can get it on the agenda, Amy, to see what the appetite with the Board of Finance would be. You know, the abatement information is coming in the next month. You know, Rainey will be getting that in order to do it. There hasn't been an increase. I mean, we still could increase it by 500, put it on the annual town meeting and make it retroactive to this year and get the increase. Just that the Board of Finance would have to take it out of the contingency with the town, you know, to appropriate that money. And, you know, and I'm sure if you look, we could get an, you know, a future, I forget what it is, around 30,000. I may be off a little bit, that goes out to the fire departments. It's in that range that, you know, the ordinance possibly could be, you know, backdated, you know, to cover this current fiscal year, as long as the Board of Finance is willing to, you know, to appropriate that money, you know, to cover the volunteers.
So I think you're right, Ken, about the dollar amount, maybe a little bit more, like 33 or something. 30 something rings a bell, but maybe we could get Rainey to give us an idea what that would cost, or the tax office, I should say, what that would cost the town to look at doing the allotment to start for this year. And I think that it sounds like we could also maybe send this back to the ordinance committee to revise it and see what it would look like as an exemption with a possible increase.
Okay.
Well, I think the exemption that Paul's talking about is something that's totally different, you know, than which is a lot different. We'd have to get that information, how Killingly did it.
I think that's what he was explaining to me.
The exemption is in the law. That's what he's talking about. It's
Yeah.
written in the Connecticut statutes.
Okay.
That it's an exemption of the property's assessed value. In that case, though, it is a higher amount. I think it's like $1 million that you could go up to in exemption. If we were to increase and make it an exemption that would equate to $2,000, it would be $82,542. that would be taken off of the tax rolls. So that would be what the exemption would be
That's per,
Per person,
per firefighter, yes.
right? And that would be at what dollar amount? I'm sorry.
That would equate to $2,000. So in abatement terms, it would be $2,000.
I would guess so.
In exemption terms, it's $82,542.
Not right this second.
We can
But,
hear
but the short gap of right now, in order to benefit the fire departments, we could amend the current abatement to give them the increase as long as the Board of Finance is willing to go along with that, get them the money for, the 500 that they would be owed for this year. That would give us time to put in whatever language we need to do for the exemption,
Oh, that would still have to go before a town meeting
of
with
course.
a new ordinance.
Right. And I'm in total favor of that, but I would also like to see it become to be switched over from an exemption, from an abatement to an exemption.
Yeah, we're all on the same page.
We are, right? Okay, I thought
We're
so.
all on the same page. I'm just
Okay.
thinking to say for a stopgap right now, since we can go up to 500, we could quickly amend the abatement ordinance in the next town meeting or the annual meeting, as long as the Board of Finance is willing to back, to fund it. And the question would be to the town attorney,
Town attorney.
can we backdate something for this particular,
Okay.
fiscal year?
So Amy, when would we need to vote on that?
I would say that we could make, if we wanted to do what Ken's suggesting, which I think is a fine idea, we would, because I need to get that legal notice out by next Friday.
Right.
That needs to go to press by this week to get published next Friday.
So you need a
So I
motion
would say
tonight.
let's vote on at least the increase to the abatement, pending the approval from the town attorney stating that we can even go retro.
Pending the legality of, well, retro and
And then-
also,
and then it would
the
just have-
exemption.
Oh,
Or are you suggesting holding off on the exemption? That's what I'm trying to clarify.
I think Ken is suggesting that we hold off on the change to exemption and just give them the increase that could have been due them this year.
This year.
Correct.
And, but the
Making it
purpose
retro-
of that would be, okay, and then maybe we could put something into it that says, for the 2021, 22 year, that it become an exemption, not an abatement. So make it a two-step kind of,
Well, if we're gonna go that far, then we should just try to change the whole entire ordinance.
that's what I'm saying. I think it should just be the whole ordinance and we do it once. We go to the town once with it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if you've got enough time to put it together. You've got different levels in here in order to jump up to $500, because not everybody is eligible for the same, whether they're a certified officer, an EMT, et cetera. How do you spread that?
Well, it's pretty broken up, I think.
Well,
It's
I think
pretty
if you did it
explained.
the way Josh had explained, I don't have the ordinance
Exactly.
in front of me, but the 500 would become 1,000, and then the
Exactly.
extra 250 for the other two pieces would bring you up to.
Okay,
It's kind of like putting in the new numbers into the already written ordinance. And then I think with the exemption, we just need to find out the legality of that.
I tend to lean with what Ken's saying right now, only because I want to make sure that the ordinance is written properly when we switch over to exemption. I think that we could try to give them the advantage of the extra 500 for their current exempt, what they could be getting this year. And then work on that other ordinance change, the massive restructuring of the ordinance for the annual town meeting, where we can add it to the legal notice there.
Okay,
And that way there's still, then we just make the next year FY, 22, then we'll have a whole new ordinance for them. That'll give us a chance to gather additional information, and really put together a really good ordinance.
I'm still not sure. I mean, I'll agree to it, but I think it just makes more sense to do it all at once and be done with it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think that there's any reason that we should drag our feet. I think we should just move forward with both and do what's right by them.
Well, looking
But
at
we
this,
can't make the 2,000 retroactive to this year. Sorry, Ken.
you can only go to 1,500 this
Right.
year.
So your goal is to rewrite it for the May town meeting, say if there's one in May, and then increase it from the 1,500 to the 2,000, and then at that point, make it an exemption.
Correct.
Yeah.
But give them a little, if we can, if
Give
as
them
long
what
as
they're
the attorney
entitled to.
approves. Sorry,
Okay.
Ken.
Yeah, give them what they're entitled to right now. I've got it up in front of me, and I'm just quickly glancing at it. The base is 750. So you can add 500 to A, you can add
Right.
500 to B, and that would give them their. But
What is it? It's an extra 250 then for EMT services, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So, but the idea is to get that extra 5 in there, so you're giving it to a base, and the base is 750. The other base is for the ambulance is 750, and again, any active life member who attends the first level is 750 is also. So
But
if you
again-
add it to those three, A, B, and C under number 1, that would bring it up to the 500 that's allowed this year. And, if you wanted to even modify this for the year 2000, for 2022, in case we don't get the exemption done or run into a hang up, you can write language into this that automatically bumps it up to the additional 500 for 22 that takes effect in.
To me, the ordinance as it's written is pretty complicated and seems like
It
it
is.
should be simplified.
That's what I was
So
gonna
I'd
say,
really
is why
like
don't we send this to the attorney and ask him to look at this to see, given the new act that was passed, to see if there's a way to make this a little less complicated and yet cover the same, and look at the exemption, because if we give them the additional 500 that we can add it to, they then have taxes taken out of it.
Right.
Unfortunate that's what the IRS says we have to do. But again,
But
giving
no,
them 500 is better than nothing right now.
Ken's
But-
just trying to give them what's due them potentially, what potentially they could receive.
But in looking at the way this has been written and revised in 2019, I do not believe that it's up to the town how they want to proceed, if they want it as an abatement or an exemption. That's
But
exactly
that's
what it
not how our
says.
ordinance is written.
But I'm saying let's rewrite the ordinance and the dollar amount. And it can be written now or later, but it doesn't make
Suzanne,
sense
You talk a little softer.
to do it now.
Was your
And
husband just telling you
then
to talk softer?
He was.
But we may have time to do that between now and the annual town meeting.
Now to May we do, but now until the time that I need to get that other town meeting accomplished, we won't have, I don't think we'll have time to get it rewritten and approved by us. That's my fear.
And I agree with you. If it's just to plug in the 500, this is really easy to change. We could get it into the next town meeting as long as the town attorney agrees. And we can make that ordinance change as a stopgap
And make
right
it,
now.
and make it retroactive so that it could be applied this year.
Correct,
That's what it hinges on.
right.
But
If
part
we're
of my
looking-
point is they're being taxed on that. So even if we do it, they're still gonna have taxes taken
But it's
out.
not gonna wipe out the entire $500. It's still gonna be an
won't.
extra amount of money. Yes, there'll still be tax on it, but we'll deal with that in May when we
But
have time
some
to figure
people
out-
don't even take it because they are taxed on it.
Well, I would still take it. If it
But
was
it
me.
allows us to give them more than they're receiving now, even though it will be taxed. If we can hold up, retro date it, we could wait to the annual town meeting and make it an exemption. And we would have plenty of time to write it accordingly, because we'll have 4 months.
It just needs to be
3.5.
written and revised, and that's not good. We can't get that done in a day and a half.
No, you can't.
I just know that we can't. And then come back and have us approve it too and look it over and make sure that it's written properly. I want it done right.
So Ken, make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we increase the annual tax abatement to what is allowed for this year of 2021, 20, whatever this year fiscal budget is, increase it by 500.
Pending the attorney's approval to do so
That we can.
and town meeting.
That we can retro date it, so that way they're eligible to get that payment for this February.
For the 2021 year.
Yes.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion?
My only comment is that I would like to see us revisit this again for the exemption.
We're all in agreement, Suzanne.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. We're in agreement to move it eventually to exemption, but John Sharp, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, just if I could, just I'm thankful for what you're trying to propose and do. Obviously, I think a majority of the volunteers would like the new style of program, but we understand that obviously there's logistics that are involved. There's legal aspects and so forth. Suzanne, you're a huge advocate by the sounds for what we're hoping to push through, and I thank you. If it doesn't happen this year, in regards to the new way, and I apologize for not
Exemption.
exemption. Thank you. If it doesn't come to an exemption this year because of time frame, obviously I can pass that along to all my membership and let them know that obviously the town is very diligent about working on that and making it happen, but because of time restrictions and so forth, we totally understand. An extra $500 is very helpful. Yes, it will be taxed, but again, knowing that a new program is eventually going to come into play, we're very thankful for that. So yes, great. I think that's fantastic. And whatever the outcome is for this year, it is what it is, and we'll deal with it. And we'll be able to get the new program off and running fairly soon. That'll be the only thing that we can hope for. That's all. So thank you.
So John, just for awareness, this will be voted on at the town meeting.
Yep.
So we might need your support to vote on it.
That's fine.
Just in case there's resistance, I don't see that happening.
Right. No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. Any further discussion on this motion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? That motion passes. And yeah, Suzanne, absolutely. We're gonna get the other one drafted
Okay.
with the exemption. We'll get that done for May. It's just, if you look at the ordinance, it's just so complicated, and I'd like to simplify it somehow.
Okay.
And I just want us to really have full input.
All
Yeah,
right.
and the information that we get from Paul with the Killingly may simplify this thing immensely.
Yep.
Sounds good. Where are we at?
Clinton Allard posted in the chat, thank you all for your support. It truly means a lot. And the work and the volunteerism of fire departments and EMS mean a lot to us. So,
And our fire marshal.
and our fire marshals, they're working diligently for us, absolutely. Okay, moving on to agenda item 6, land donation to Wyndham Trust, discussion and possible action. I just wanted to bring up to the board that I spoke to our town attorney in regard to parcel number 1, which was the woodlot, the one with the deed restriction that any profits from the land, et cetera, be used for the poor. So when I spoke to Ken Slater, he said that the deed restriction, as far as donating the property to Wyndham Land Trust on that parcel, does not prevent the transfer of land. Since Wyndham Land Trust is not getting any monetary value from the land, the restriction would still apply to them as new landowners. The same rules would apply, he said, should, let's say they harvest timber from the property at some point to raise money, any dollars earned would have to be donated to a charitable cause benefiting the Thompson residents. So the same deed restriction would apply to parcel number 1. So it's a question of whether, I was asked by Cindy today whether or not P&Z would be re-looking at this parcel to potentially give their blessing on possibly donating the land to Wyndham Land Trust. So that's what I have. So thoughts from the board?
Now send it to, P&Z to relook at it. Now we got the information from the town attorney. Time is not of the essence.
Right.
It's still open space no matter what. It's either going to be Wyndham Land Trust or it's going to be the town of Thompson.
Right.
So we can do this, do our due diligence that we get it right so we can do it appropriately.
Yeah. Oh, Suzanne, you're on mute.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sounds good to me. I agree. Send it back.
So I'll make a motion that we send what's described as parcel 1 to planning and zoning for review and request disposal of that property, or their approval for disposal of that property.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of moving this on to planning and zoning for their referrals, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. Let's see, Jeffrey Bolte raised his hand. The motion's already passed, but I'll go ahead. Jeffrey, do you have something to say?
I was just chiming in. John Rice was looking to say something, it looked.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jeffrey.
You're welcome.
I guess I didn't wave. John Rice, 39 East Taunton. I didn't wave fast enough. Amy suggested we be in the planning and zoning, have a meeting Monday night. Gloria will be in the office tomorrow doing up the agenda. Maybe we can put that on the agenda tomorrow. We can act on it Monday.
Cindy called me today and asked if it was something. I said, I don't know how the board's going to decide, but she put it on the agenda anyways. And if nothing came to fruition from it tonight, we just weren't going to deal with it. So it is on the agenda for your Monday night meeting.
Okay, she hasn't sent it to me today yet. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Moving on to agenda item 7, request from Girl Scout troops 65117, 65136, and 65500 to sell cookies at the transfer station.
Motion to allow them to sell cookies at the transfer station as requested.
And I will second that. Absolutely.
A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this topic?
Look at that.
Hearing
Wait,
none.
do we
all
have
in
date?
favor- Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Do we have dates?
Oh, we did, but they didn't get written
Was
on
that in
here.
the email? Okay, I'm sorry. I have the email right here. I just want to make sure I get my cookies.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me-
Thank you.
let's see. It was March. Okay. So for everybody in the public that needs to know and wants to know, March 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yes.
Excellent.
All right. So all in favor of allowing the Girl Scouts to sell cookies at the transfer station, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. Okay, agenda item 7, legal notice for town meeting and referendum. If we are going to try to alter that ordinance for and increase the amount, then this legal notice will change, which means we might have to have a quick special meeting on Friday.
Okay.
Which leaves us a moot point unless, was there any other discussion about what was on the legal notice that I sent your way?
So it can't really go
Just to let you know, I'm available Friday. Just give me a time.
I will be available as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Assuming 10 or between
Oh.
10 and 2, something like that.
You know what? I do have a training, I think, in the morning. Let me just double check so
Okay.
that if we want to put a tentative meeting up. I do have a webinar from 10 to 12. I apologize.
Okay, so maybe we'll make it for 9.
Yeah, because I
Or
think
you
you've
want to
got to
make
get
it
it.
for 1?
Yeah, I think you've got to get it in right after noon time or something.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. All right. So 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I'll do it from home. Yep.
Okay, so we'll make it 9 a.m. Thanks, Ken,
Okay.
for that reminder.
Yeah.
All right, 9 a.m. I'll get that put together and we'll get it out and posted tomorrow. And I'll get Ken Slater to rewrite and yeah. All right. Okay, so moving on to agenda item 9, Trails Committee purchase of trailer, discussion and possible action. So there is a request for Trails to purchase a trailer. After careful consideration, I attended their Trails Committee meeting last week. I've spoken with the attorney. I did not hear back from the insurance, so I failed in that respect because I wanted to get a price on what the insurance would cost. The one thing that we agreed upon between the attorneys and the insurance company was that there had to be some guidelines as far as who towed the trailer. So some type of sign-out sheet, driving record checks on whoever's going to be towing the trailer at any given time. But I think it's a good solution to a volunteer organization that helps us maintain trails. And at this point, after looking into everything, I'm good with registering and insuring the trailer through the town.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
So question, so this becomes a town vehicle or a town trailer, and who then oversees to make sure that this is all, people have driver's licenses, people are experienced, who is doing that screening?
Well, that would come through the selectman's office, and then our insurance company would do the driver's license, the driving background checks.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Right.
Maybe we should look at making them an official part of the town. And
What would that entail? Do you know?
off top of my head, I don't. I mean, we've got MISRAC, we've got a bunch of committees, but they don't own anything, but we do cover them for liabilities whenever they're doing volunteerism and things of that nature. But in order to put it on the insurance, I believe the title's got to be in the town of Thompson's name.
Yep.
Right.
So they have to be in agreement to do that. And if they're not in agreement if they have issues with that, then we may have to turn around and figure a way of making them part of the town or, incorporate them into recreation or something of that nature.
Well, Trails is, in essence, it's a committee that's formed and appointed. You're appointed to the Trails Committee so they are a town entity. They're just, I know John's in the meeting and so is Karen Durlack. Both of you free to speak if you have anything to share.
There's Karen.
Yep.
Unmute Karen.
Oh, can she hear? Let me see if I. Okay.
There she is.
There we go.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Now
now.
we can.
Okay. Karen Durlack. Okay. Karen Durlack, 94 Tuft Hill Road. The only difference with the Trails Committee is that we have our own budget. So money that we raise is not gone into the general fund. And we would like to keep it that way.
Right. And Karen, correct me if I'm wrong.
Otherwise,
and
we're town.
I apologize for not getting you the numbers. I haven't received that from our insurance agent. I sent the specs for the trailer and requested a quote, and I didn't get that for you. But if I'm understanding correctly, Trails, through the money you raise, are planning on reimbursing the town for the cost of the insurance. Correct? Or am I understanding that
Yes.
incorrectly? Okay.
Yes. No, we said we would pay in the annual insurance and the registration fee.
Right. So Karen,
Oh, sorry about that. So let me understand. So
Well, there
Trails,
is no registration fee.
right.
The town gets X number of municipal plates.
It just has to be
Oh.
put on the list.
It
Okay,
has to be
great.
put on a list, and it has to be registered with the insurance company.
Right.
so the Trails Committee is a town committee appointed by the selectmen, the individuals?
Yes.
Okay, but they just have
Yes.
their own fundraising and manage their own funds, and it doesn't go through the town checkbook, so to speak, the town accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, they are a town.
Right.
Right?
Well, they're underneath.
Yes.
They're underneath
Yes.
town umbrella, so to speak.
Yeah.
And John raised his hand. Just unmute yourself, John.
So my question is, she said appointed by the selectmen. We're not appointed, but we're sworn in. I don't know if there's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are appointed
right.
then.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't have any problem with moving forward with the purchase of a trailer to support their needs, and then just having, as long as it's overseen by the selectman office.
And I'm grateful for the work that Trails does
Absolutely.
to help maintain our trail system, because it's a large task. It's a large undertaking, especially when our public works is so stretched.
Yeah, they've been looking to purchase a trailer now for the last few years in order to help them get equipment in the ATV, so that way they can continue the trail maintenance. So it's something they've been working on, and it is a positive thing.
Yeah. So I would make a motion at this time that we approve and put our stamp of approval on the purchase of the trailer, and that the town will undertake the insurance with Trails reimbursing the town for the insurance through their fund. Does that make sense?
I don't think they have to reimburse us for anything. We insure the fire departments, we insure all town vehicles and equipment.
Yeah, I'm with Kenny.
Okay, so I revised.
Because you're right, Kenny, that makes total sense. Why would we ask this particular? Well, the only thing is they are doing their own fundraising, managing their own,
Right.
I agree. I
Yeah, the only thing that we need for the insurance company is going to be an inventory in case
And the truth is,
something
the
happens to
trailer,
their equipment.
it's not going to be a large amount of money.
So the town should really absorb it,
Town could absorb it.
It's going to be the value of the trailer and the value of the equipment that is stored on the trailer. Because we insure that, just like we do the fire departments.
Do I have to pull back my motion? Say, make a motion that we approve, that we put our stamp of approval on the purchase of the trailer with Trails Committee funds, and that the town will insure the trailer.
Register and insure.
That's my motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this motion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes. Okay. All right, so the last piece was agenda item 10, was the other business that I added, the Wheaton Brook Culvert. I make a motion that we move forward with a request for proposal for the Wheaton Brook Culvert project.
It's not the town thing, it's the school.
Can you put that, was that what they were asking for? They're asking for a
She wants to go
proposal?
out to RFP.
We have
Right.
to, it's just a formality. The Board of Selectmen, remember, has to approve going out
Right.
for RFP. This is a project that's been in the works. It's needed, the culvert needs replacement.
Yep, no, I just want to make sure we're wording this correctly.
Yeah, it's just a formality. It's just a approval or, Yeah, to approve moving forward with a request for proposal for the Wheaton Brook culvert replacement.
So they're going out to bid or they're
Yes.
requesting, yes, they're going out to bid. So
They're
it's
going out to bid.
to go out to bid.
Yes,
Yes.
request for proposal
Okay.
from various
Kenny-
companies.
Ken just gave you the second, so we're good.
Okay. Any further discussion on this matter? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, opposed, and that motion passes. Okay. Any other business that either board member needs to take up tonight?
I think we have to approve the plan of conservation and development.
Well, you added something to other business.
That was what I added, was the Wheaton Brook culvert.
Oh, okay.
We don't need to formally approve unless you want to formally approve the plan for conservation and development.
I thought that she said that she kind of needed it. Is Tara on here?
No,
No. I thought she said she needed it approved, and I had a couple of corrections, but,
the process was that it had to come before the Board of Selectmen and
okay.
COG,
Okay.
for comments. And then the Board of Selectmen could opt to have a public hearing with the Board of Selectmen. Well, anyways, it's very complicated.
So if Tara if she does not need a vote. She
Does not
just
need a
wanted
vote.
our comments.
Just your comments.
Okay.
That was the requirement for the.
All right. Well, maybe I can have a conversation with her then.
Absolutely. The process from this point will be, it will get published on our webpage. There will be a public hearing to discuss it, and then it'll go back to planning and zoning for approval.
Okay.
So,
All right. Maybe I can have a conversation with her tomorrow.
yeah, I would absolutely give her a call and have a chat
Yeah.
with whatever
Okay.
your findings were. Unless
Okay.
you want to share them tonight with the board.
There was just a couple of things. I wanted a couple of questions I wanted to ask her directly about the descriptions of the, like the Board of Selectmen, where that came from, because I think the first selectman position is technically a part-time position, not full-time. It just little tweaks like that. I think when she went over emergency services and the fire department, she actually left the EMS out as part of the description of the town.
Okay, can you send that, if you have a conversation, can you send that to Ken and I too?
Yeah.
So we can see what your findings were?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I can maybe write something up and send it in an email to Tara and the other, both
And
of you
just
as well.
CC us on it, that would be great. I'd like to know what you found.
Yeah, and it was just a quick, I didn't read it word for word. I'm not gonna lie and say I did. I
That's
didn't. Because but it's great. I think it's great. And I read through it.
Yeah.
And just picked up on a few things, that's all.
Great, good. Well, And that's what she was looking for, so.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Excellent.
All right. Any other business? Okay. Moving on to agenda item 11, citizen comments. Are there any citizen comments at this time? Hearing and seeing none, we will move on to tax refunds. I'll make a motion that we refund Richard Milley, $49.31. Pamela Ballard Ross, $229.33. Scott Durand, $501.97. ACAR Leasing LTD, $361.99. Marnie Larson, $14.66. And Timothy Myers, $5.33 for a total of $1,162.59.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And that motion passes. I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting. at-
Second.
Wait. At 8:19 PM. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That motion passes. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Aye.
Have a nice night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, thanks.